Hi everyone, welcome back. This week in Level F, we're going to be covering lessons 49 through 52. And you'll need your worksheets 37 through 40, the Casio calculator, the math card games book, the basic card deck, and the multiplication cards deck. All right, let's go ahead and get started with lesson 49. So we'll be working on expanding short division. This is an enrichment lesson. It provides another way to do division, and it stretches your child's brain, which is a good thing. Notice that the warm-up questions could be viewed as either a subtraction problem or as an addition problem. It's much easier to treat it as an addition problem by using the going up strategy, which we covered in lesson 3. Just to review what that looks like. If 17 out of 35 shrubs have been planted, how many more need to be planted? Well, you could do that as 35 minus 17, but it would be easier to solve that problem by going up. So 17 plus 3 gets me to 20. Then I add another 5, so what I've added so far is 8, that equals 25. And then add another 10, so now we're at 18, and that gets me to 35. So how many more need to be planted? 18. Next, we'll take a look at octopus multiplying again, but this time we'll approach it from the left. So let's take a look at what that would look like.
Okay, so here we have our problem. 63 is going to be the divisor, 4 is the quotient. And before, we would multiply 4 times 3, carry the 1, 4 times 6. But this time we're going to look at 4 times 60 first. So what is 4 times 60? Well, 4 times 6 is 24, so 4 times 60 is 240. Next, we're going to multiply 4 times 3. Notice how I'm doing this all in my head, okay? So we've got 240. Now 4 times 3 is 12. So my answer would be 252. 240 plus 12 is 252.
Okay, so the first 4 problems on the worksheet have to do with that octopus multiplying. Then you're going to move on to the top of page 99. The next section will show how to find the remainder by going up. And then after completing the next row of problems, come back to your lesson book and look at how we can put those 2 parts, so the octopus multiplying and finding the remainder by going up, together to use short division with 2-digit divisors. Now your child can finish the worksheet, and there's no game to play today, but make sure to ask the in conclusions question. It's a good reminder for us all. And if you do have time to play a game and would like to, just pick a favorite one. Okay, in lesson 50, we're practicing long division and using both multiplying and check numbers to check our answers. So the warm-ups for this lesson review what to do if your trial quotient is too high or too low. So that was from a couple of lessons ago. The first part of the lesson focuses on checking the division problem by multiplying the divisor and the quotient, the same way that we all were taught to check our division problems. Let's take a look at that example.
Okay, so here we have the division problem, 74 divided by 8. And I get the answer 9, remainder 2. Now, how can we be sure that that's correct? Well, we can say 9 times 8 is 72, plus 2 is 74. So sure enough, our answer is correct. We could also use check numbers. So let's start off with the same problem. 74 divided by 8 equals 9, remainder 2. And then we just have to look, okay, what are our check numbers? The check number for 9 is 0. The check number for 8 is 8. The check number for 2 is 2. And then the check number for the number that we're dividing into, the dividend, is 11, which of course 1 and 1 is 2. All right, so then we just multiply. 8 times 0 is 0 plus 2. So we do the times here, add the remainder, just like we were doing before, but just this time it's with check numbers. So 8 times 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 and 2 are the same. We get the same numbers, so our answer checks.
Okay, so then have your child do the middle section of the worksheet and ask the questions that are in the lesson book. After that, your child can finish the worksheet, then ask the in conclusion questions and play Remainder Hearts, which is game D9 in the Math Card Games book. And of course, we do have a video about that as well. In lesson 51, we will divide by subtracting and learn different ways to write the remainders. So there's 2 warm-ups on the worksheet that cover our work from lesson 50. The first part of our lesson and worksheet involved using the calculator to divide without using the division key. So the challenge is, how could I do that? Go ahead and let your child figure that out. The purpose of this activity is to show the relationship between subtraction and division. Just like there's a relationship between multiplication and addition, there is also a relationship between division and subtraction. Next, we're going to look at the 3 forms of writing a remainder. It can be written as a whole number, just like we did in this last example, remainder 2. It can be written as a decimal or as a fraction. Okay, so once your child has finished the worksheet, ask the in conclusion questions. There's no game listed for today, but if you feel like you want to play a game, go ahead and pick one that's your favorite. All right, in lesson 52, we will solve real life long division problems. The warm-ups are oral questions regarding remainders. Then moving on to worksheet 40, have your child read problem number 1 and solve it. Most children will probably find this problem challenging because they first need to turn the minutes into a fraction of an hour. So let's take a look at how that works.
Okay, so the problem says Sam unicycled 100 miles in 6 hours and 18 minutes. What was his average miles per hour? And the hint is first turn the minutes into a fraction of an hour and then turn the hours into a decimal. So what does that look like? So we have 18 minutes. How many minutes are in an hour? 60 minutes. So we can simplify this to 3/10. And that becomes the decimal point 3. So that makes the division look like this. So it was 6 hours, 6.3 hours. And he traveled 100 miles. So I need to move the decimal point over. Carry it up here. 63 goes into 100 one time. That leaves, let's see, 7 gets it to 70. And then 30 to 100. So we have 37 left over. So 63 goes into 370 how many times? Goes in 5 times with a remainder of 55. Now, the problem asks, or in the book it asks, is 55, is the answer with a remainder of 55 a good answer to the problem? And it's really not, because we want to know what his average speed was. So we're going to round 55 over 63. By putting it into a fraction form, we can see that 55 is more than half of 63. So we're going to round 15, remainder 55. We're going to round that up to 16. So Sam did almost 16 miles per hour.
Okay, go ahead and have your child work through the next 3 problems. Have your child read the problem and solve it, and then you should ask, how did you find the answer? Have your student discuss his or her solution, and if you find that there's any mistakes, make sure to help your child analyze what went wrong. Okay, so notice the explanations along the way. I think that they're really interesting, so go ahead and read the explanations column. Ask the in conclusions question and then play long division game, which is D17 in the Math Card Games book. That's all for this week, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.